Living in Minnesota, where 6 months out of the year are cold, finding an outdoor activity can be challenging. My personal go-to outdoor activity during the winter months is ice fishing. Putting aside what lake to fish on, the fundamentals of ice fishing are relatively similar. There are 3 key elements when it comes to ice fishing. These include safety, equipment, and techniques. The most important part of ice fishing, let alone any activity, is safety. One of the first things you will need to know before heading out to your spot is the ice thickness. According to the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources, for clear, new ice only, the requirements are as follows. 2 inches or less, you should always stay off the ice. 4 inches is safe for ice fishing on foot. 5 inches, snowmobiles or ATVs. 8 to 12 inches, car or small pickups. 12 to 15 inches, medium-sized trucks. And 18 inches and up is safe for large trucks and permanent fish houses. To obtain depth measurements, you can utilize local resources such as bait shops and other lakeside resorts, as well as some lakes may be posted on the DNR website. A good rule of thumb is always to wait till mid-December though. The other key safety rule is to always keep warm. You should always check weather conditions before heading out and dress accordingly. Layers are good and an extra set of clothing is never a bad idea. Next is the expensive part to this activity, equipment. The absolutely necessary equipment will include a rod, fishing line, an auger or chisel, and bait and tackle. These are the basic building blocks of ice fishing, and enhancing the activity can be done by expanding on your equipment by purchasing things like fish houses, heaters, electric augers, fish finders, and just about any kind of bait and tackle you can think of. Depending on your location and what you are fishing for, technique plays the biggest role in a good catch. Again, utilize local resources and the Minnesota DNR website. You can also go to exploreminnesota.com, where according to their website, they will post the hot spots, where to catch fish and what time. The most common technique used for fishing is called jigging. In this method, you place your preferred bait and tackle on your rod, and according to how deep you want to go, the weight that you will need. Once your line is set to the depth that you want, you can begin jigging, which is either flicking a wrist or slightly lifting the rod up and down to give movement to your rod to attract the fish. Another common technique used is the bobber method. This is simply just putting any kind of floating bobber on your line and setting the line in the water until a fish pulls it under. There are many other techniques that you can use, but these are just the common ones. So to recap the information that I have presented, you first and foremost always want to follow the safety first rules. Be careful and basically remember that ice depth, weather conditions, and dressing appropriately are your main safety rules.